Welcome everyone to the Blueprint for Peace for Humanity, Day 19, the morning session for Tuesday, August 1st, 2017. And I think we have another jam-packed session ready to go today. I think Mr. Keshe is here, or perhaps Caroline. Mr. Keshe, are you there?
Yes, good morning, good day to you, as usual, wherever and whenever you listen to these teachings. We have another, the last day of what I call the old ways, and tomorrow we start a new ways, new way, new life. A lot of people will remember this day, and a lot of people will understand the changes that will come from today onwards after tomorrow. Tomorrow we're signing the World Peace Treaty by world governments, and this process will carry on the whole of second and the third. And in the process, as I explained to the Earth Council and Universal Council members last night and the core team, what it stands for, we try to explain more. We celebrate the new cycle, the new generation of life for humanity. And in that process, we carry on with what we have to do and the things which are processing. As part of the meeting which we have and we keep on following, is that we see a huge changes, a new horizon for humanity. A lot of understanding from the people, from the point of power, and a lot of understanding that there is a need for a change. There is a need for another chance for humanity to be able to find solutions for itself. I have been told that a number of you are getting emails and pressures from Mr. Svandik in respect to the information which has been released by a website about Mr. Lorenz. Do not be afraid of any threats. Just delete it. Let him write. We want him to write to the police because he gets the police investigating. This is perfect for us. They can make any allegations, any assumptions, and they can go to any court in Germany. We want to make the pedophile out of the borders of Belgium into other European countries. These people serve us, and this is the best way to get them going. The way we know what the result will be on Monday. We already been pre-told what the result's going to be because they have pressurized the judge. And at the same time, we have been told that these people who are trying to take the case into and informing the police of releasing name and address, misconductors should be reported to the police. And as Mr. Lorenz has immunity with the police of Belgium, is part of the structure, we wanted you to take it out of the borders, and you've done it for us. Thank you very much indeed. We can bring this because there are other children in Austria and Germany which have gone missing for years now. You have connected the link for us, and we thank you for it. It is important that all of us, we understand this position, understand this act that they are trying to do. As I said, they have started sending threatening letters that they are going to do this, and they already made a complaint to the police. Thank you very much. We asked our people to make a complaint. Now you brought it. When the police goes on the website of these people who have put all the details on Mr. Lorenz up, that you send letters to the police, you're doing exactly what you want. We want you to do. So you know your threat is hollow. Or if you do it, this is the perfect opportunity for us. Because don't forget, when we send this letter to the police, police sees names and addresses, and he knows if it's illegal, they will tell us. They will tell us that everything is illegal, but the police is investigating. So please write to the police officers you know better than us. Then we bring it, this is the whole purpose, we bring it out of the Belgium territory, and now it comes in the hand of international police. On the other hand, we have to inform you that we are taking action against these people in a different way. You will understand the way we work. And this is part of the peace. I've received communication thanking us for what we asked yesterday. We asked the question again, Mr. Lorenz, we are still waiting for you to release the address, which you so cleverly could release everybody's name and address and home pictures. As you release the pictures of my private accommodation, which is totally illegal and criminal, why don't you do the same with your daughter's address where she was living and show the red light district too? You have avoided doing it up to now. But we all understand your position. We respect it. And what one of the members of the family has told us to tell you is, if the garden of Mr. Keshe was a good place, as you've written on a Facebook, to piss in a garden, why don't you piss out of the 11th floor of London Tower, if that is your habit? Or, as they said to tell you, there are no children on the 11th floor next door neighbor. Now you understand the gravity of misconduct and what has happened. We have to be correct, and we stand correct. We would like you to send the report to the police, because the police is looking for people like you. And they understand why you're supporting such a person. Then we have a claim on you, sir, too. Humanity should be free of the, what I call, leeches and parasites like this behavior, as we see, is not unusual. They are gathered in groups of 40, 50 and 70,000. We hear from Interpol and German police. So we buy the freedom of children, we buy the freedom of human race in the hand of criminals like you. I have to tell you something, sir, which you're sending these out. All your emails in the past 10 years you sent to us have been collected. All the death threats. Now you stick your head out, we respond. You have written that you made a personal claim to the police, and please do, because you have to show them what it is they have to investigate. And when they investigate, you say exactly what we wanted to do. Going back on the teachings and where we stand for, we teach according to the time and the place and understanding of the totality. Many of you have asked, what is the position with the soul of the man? What is going to change in the coming time? We have to understand the process that our soul is part of the totality of the structure of the universe. We are not unique, we are not separate, we are not any different. We are part of the chain of evolution of the interaction of the field. And in one process or another, we become part of bigger structure. As we evolve, we become part of the structure that itself becomes the creator. When the sun was created from the rays of the fields, of the plasmatic fields of the galaxy and the universe, it was just fields, it's just a plasma. And it's received, it comes to the point that it gives. And in that giving his fields out, and in the process of the environment which is dictated on it by the galaxy where it's positioned in, he has created a distance gap, which that distance gap has led to the reduction in the strength of the field, and in that reduction of strength of the fields, in the interaction with the plasma which has been collected from the fields of the universe, has led to creation of what we call amino acid and life. So, if you consider the soul of the man the same as the fields of the sun, in becoming radiant and in its environment allowing its field strength to be dictated by its environmental fields, then it can lead, the same as the earth in the solar system, in the creation of entity that what we might call planet, and that condition in that planet in interaction with the fields of itself leads to creation of the fractions or plasmas, which the collective interaction leads to creation of another cycle of life. This is how you become the creator. This is how every soul in its dimension has the capability to become the source, to become a center, to become a star, to become the creation and the creator of life. This is important for us to understand, and this is absolutely what we have to understand, that the interaction of the souls of the other entities of the physical structure in releasing their soul, in releasing their free energy system plasma, what we call a soul, in the environment of the galaxy and the solar system and the universe, part of it or some of it or most of it has led to the creation of the sun, which means our sun could be, and part of it has to be, out of the soul of the creations of the other creatures. This is the reality. It does not matter how it looks to us. This is the way it is. Where does our soul go when it's a plasmatic magnetic field? It goes and interacts with the others, and interaction in billions of years of cycle of life. Part of your soul, or the whole package of the soul, or in certain ways of strength, it leads to creation of another source of life, another sun, because that's what the soul of the man is. So, in totality, we are forever evolving. And how man has to come and has come to think that this fraction of few seconds in the cycle of life of the universe, which we call the life of the man, has become so important out of his own ignorance. The sooner the man reaches the understanding, the sooner the man understands that this understanding, it is, and it'll become in totality as one part of creation, as one part of the entity. We have to understand. Just 1 second, please. So, in this process, in this totality, we are part of a structure. We are part of understanding. We are part of what I call universalization, not globalization. We become part of the fields of the universe. And in different part of this universe, in the structure of our lives, as the fields of this universe, in one time or another, or sometimes never, because we stay free of conditions of the galaxies in the visible direction, we become part of the invisible part due to the strength we carry. We become part of the totality of the globe of the universe. So the sooner the man understands this, the sooner man understands that his life is on a path of progress, that what he absorbs more, that it creates and it gives it a chance to become as on its own an entity for existence and life creation in another cycle, the more man will do to receive from the others. Not by stealing, because by stealing you lose, is by devotion of service. Is what we call in English language by receiving blessing, which means that others give their soul to you in the trust that you develop for the better life in the next cycle through the field connection, that they are part of that development. It's very much like when you find somebody that you think is going to be a good sportsman, and then you invest time and finance it for it to become the best. We do, and most of the souls in the universe rely on them, that they can be elevated to the point that at that point the soul receives enough that on its own can become a star, on its own can become a new cycle of the creation. That at that point, on its field, it reaches the point of maturity of becoming part of the creation and the creator. This is the ultimate goal of the existence. And the sooner we understand this, the sooner we understand it's very much like an achievement in being able to produce. You've seen how animals fight to be the best that they can mate with a female, the strongest. In the world of knowledge of the man, in the strength of the soul, is for us to be able to shine, that on its own we can stand to be a star, to be the creation, to be the start of a new cycle. Not many achieve this point. Not many souls can gather and master so much. This is part of the teaching which we have to understand. Otherwise, the whole process of teaching become totally meaningless. Why do you go to space for? Why do we open the universal community to man? Because in the reality, on the other side, here the population, you get blessed by a few thousand. When you serve in a universal community, in the strength which they carry, and you serve the totality in receiving collection of the fields of the universe, the soul of the entity elevates to the soul of the creator, to the level of the soul of the creator, but not in its strength, which means you become part of the creation, that your life, your cycle leads to the creation of new life. It's very much, we do our best to become on the top, that we can get the best job. This is the best job available in the universe for a combination of the fields which the soul of the man can be part. I explained this in a very, very tricky way a couple of times and nobody understand. We saw the death of Paul, John Paul, and a lot of people cried for him. He didn't carry much. He didn't catch much of the blessing because we know what was going in the background was taking too much. We've seen round about the same time of era and the same conditions the loss of Christiana. We saw how the world grieves for her. We know of her misconducts in whatever, but he received up to so much praise, so much attention, so much in giving to her soul, that soul elevates to a new dimension. I've said that many times to people around me. Her soul has been elevated. It's, it's unfortunate or fortunate that has happened, but in reality, because so many people grieved and gave from the soul in blessing, whatever she did minor on what she did was not comparison to what she received. The elevation of the soul at this level creates a new condition for the whole soul itself, that it has to learn to adjust to it. Then it becomes a shining star. But you need millions of humans to simultaneously to give. Many of us have lost parents. After 20 years, 30 years, the blessing is if one of the grandchildren mention a name. If 50 or 100 people turn up for a funeral for whatever reason. The people who receive this kind of blessing, the elevation of the soul in targeted on them is so huge that they receive these levels of love and care or elevation of their soul. So in so many ways, we have to understand, if we enter universal community, we are dealing with the souls that they are in extension, in much more powerful in mass of than the human race, because of the way they have conducted themselves. So those humans who join in the race of the universal community, in time as they serve the same as what they learned here in a correct conduct, then they can achieve the elevation to the stardom, to become a shining star, to become a collection of fields where they decide through the soul of their existence, their own existence. Many times we hear, and if you understand the process of the physics, heart beat. The sun has a heartbeat. The earth has a heartbeat. Where does this come from? It's the same process as the heartbeat of the man. Same process, but internal interaction of the process. And those of you who understand this, if you understand it fully, then you understand, those of you who've been looking for a free energy systems to be able to run any amount of fields you like, you find answer in existence of your heart, through your soul, in the development of the systems that they create that 50 hertz frequency that lead to creation of energy as man likes to have in his present material system. So if you understand the totality in its real essence, not only you teach yourself the elevation of your soul, those of you who are materialistic and you are after what I call a free energy, will receive to create non-dimensional systems that through their operation will create light and energy. So if you understand the operation of the soul, you understand the operation of the energy, you understand that the teaching right across is exactly the same. As I said, each person takes from this technology according to their intelligence. The operation of the soul, the operation of planet, the operation of power generator is all the same. Exactly the same. Have you ever thought of it? Heartbeat and the frequency on the wires. If you have not understood it, now it should be very clear. Understanding of the science of the creation is the most joyful thing to do. But if you understand it in totality, if you understand it in reality, in how and the way it has to be done, if you understand the totality of the concept, the soul of the man is the creator of the man. If the soul of the man can create such a beautiful system with such an integral part to it, now is the time for the man to understand that he has underestimated the power of his own soul. And isn't the time for man to start understanding how he can use this soul to elevate itself and to change dimension of physicality in what it can live in and what is the desire of the man. Life is not easy in any dimensions of the creation. Life is a pleasure in all dimensions of the creation. In the understanding of the totality, one does not need the physicality. But it's good to understand it, because many times I said, I know why I had to go to business world and learn things, because then at this point I can handle what is being given. Then you understand why man goes through these trials, and the knowledge gain carried by the soul of the man. Because the soul of the man in its own way is aware of its destination and destiny. So it gets trained in this direction, in this dimension, on this planet, that when it's the creator itself, it has the memory what is right and what is wrong and what has to be put right. Because then it becomes the creator itself. The process of creation is understanding of the interaction of the field. Then what field leads to what creation, what strength of what combination leads to what, that is the mystery which man has to solve. It's very much is bunch of equations, depends what you put on it, this is what you're going to get out of it. Man has to assess what he wants to take from that. We see many of you are busy with the World Peace Treaty. What does it bring you? What's the purpose of it? Have you ever stood still? Why am I doing this for? You're doing this for one thing. You become part of what you wished, and in creating the peace, the condition for peace, you become part of receiving that blessing of those who work and you work with to create that condition of peace. So in this process, what do you think, what's in it for me? Those who are short-sighted, look at their pockets here. Those who understand most of the totality, they decide through their soul, this is where I want to be. This is the dimension of my soul. And with it, creating the peace which is here, I elevate my soul. I decide to elevate my soul to be in a position to receive from the pool of the blessings, from what is to come, what is to be shared, and what is for me to be able to serve the next generation. How many of you go to church or to mosque, or you go and work in the old people's home freely? You call it a charity work. Here there is no charity work. Here you know that is the gift in achieving peace, the elevation of the soul of the man. But it has to be unconditional, because if you say, I'll do it because I know I received something to have a better soul, the intention, as we say, has spoiled the action. So it has to be sincere. We have to understand why we pushed for this peace plan. In negotiation with officials and with the governments, we have raised the level of the understanding that there is more thing than war, there is more points than any other action. There is more to gain through peace. As I speak to more and more people in the world of science, I understand one thing. The men of military are of the same opinion as us, the man of peace. Because so many of them themselves have come to understand, what am I doing here? Spending a lifetime marching, that one day, when they create war, I might carry a gun. The level of sacrifice has become unbearable, because is there a need for a sacrifice? Or have we sacrificed everything for the wrong reason up to now, and we've been misguided? crusaders, people who fight in the name of jihad, Jews who fight under the name of whatever they like, and then they call themselves people who are serving a nation. Doesn't matter in what shape or form. We have to come to understand there is one path, and it's only the path of peace. Because it's not for what we think is here, it's for what we carry in the next level, in the freedom of our soul from the physicality of body of the man. These points are important to understand on what are called the eve of the end of the last cycle of death on this planet. A lot of you will understand after the signing of the peace treaty by the members of the Earth Council and Universal Council, a new cycle for humanity starts. It's the wave of the wishes of the man which elevates the soul of the others. It's not that we sign a piece of paper on the axe, on the internet. It's the intention and the confirmation that I am there to take the responsibility, which receive the soul's energy for those who wish for peace, that in receiving it can give more. This is how this cycle shall work. This is what has to be understood. The members of the council, the members of the Universal Council, the Earth Council, and the core team, they were well explained last night in what the new cycle is to bring. Somebody says, last night was the Last Supper. In a way it was. In a way we said goodbye to all the animosity, to all the hate, to all the confusion which has born on this planet for millions of years. Because the new members of the Universal Council, the new members of the Earth Council, the members of the core team, now all of them, all 14 members of the core team, all 6 members of the Earth Council, and numerous numbers of the members of the Universal Council, now collectively their soul become the satellites of peace. They are the beacons of the peace, and as the man wishes for peace, from now on he has a point to go to. You remember going to the church and praying for the Christ without knowing the man. You're hoping that by praising his soul he will receive what you think part of you. From now on, when the humanity cries for peace, we have placed and positioned the beacons which receive the energy. This is the purpose of the Universal Council. This is the purpose of setting up the Earth Council. In that, as the more people wish for a peace that they give from their soul, the stronger the fields become, and with it, the more the structure towards universal peace. This is very, very, very strange if none of you have understood up to now. In the collection of the people we set up, we organized, was to elevate the totality of the, what I call life on this planet, irrespective of color, race, feathered, haired, skilled, or whatever you want to call it. In this process, we elevate the soul of all those who know and understand, and all those who do not know, but are there and suffering through the action of the man. This is the beauty of the way we have set everything up. As I said, we walked man to the peace without the man knowing. And this becomes very, very easy when you are master in your work. When you understand exactly what you are doing, and you can bring about the work of the peace through the work of the man. In a way, I showed you the way. And in a way, it's you who are setting the tone and the direction. This is the beauty of it. Many of you, never understood how you walk the path of the peace. But many of you understood one thing, and that was it, that you have become part of the peace work. There is no choice in it. We have no choice. We are not given any opportunity to choose, but we are part of the totality of the choice. Now, all these people who, for example, set up all these peace marches, and they wished, and the people who suffer and wish for peace have found the soul to pray to. Now they receive it, because now the intention of the people who can bring the change has been set. In the future, the man will come to understand 2nd August, 3rd August 2017 is a turning point, not only for humanity, but for a total human race and all the creatures on this planet. Does not matter where you live, because the love of God has no address. It shines upon all the same. And now that we understood in the teaching that the love of man, in the wishes of the man, in this creation of the man, has come from all dimensions, from the solar system, from the galaxies, from the universe, from the unicos, and from the creator. So within us we create that cycle which leads to peace for mankind. And it had to be done the way I've done. There is no other way. There has been so much mess over thousands and millions of years that had to be corrected. In so many ways, many people will give all their life service to be a member of the council, because with it they guarantee the survival of peace on this planet and in the universe. The game is very simple. As I said, I'm the shepherd. I know exactly where to lead my flock. In so many ways, my flock is my knowledge and not the humanity. When I release the knowledge touches the soul of the man, touches the soul of every being who hears the voice of the soul. Now you understand why such time was taken to go through so much to bring such a position. Today, as we say goodbye to the 1st of August, we write the end to animosity in the race of man on this planet, and to the totality. It will take its time, and in time, when it's done, you say, I was there when the papers were signed, when the human race committed itself to peace. The changes you will see coming from next 24 hours, and how the race of the man will race for peace in the coming time, will bring an end to all the animosities. As I said to powerful men on the table, why don't we spend the money on arms, on helping and building? And it start making sense, because we keep on building arms and we see nothing but wars and killing and suffering. Even the men of army are tired of killing, because in the past it was the sword in their hand and it was the strength of them. Now they see with their word thousands of people lose their children, their fathers and their mothers. And they have to come to understand they don't want to be part of it. When you explain that to a man of military, he's changed the soul of the man. And he comes to understand that he was not created to lose from his soul, he was created to elevate his soul. And in understanding it, they change the course of humanity. As I say, we teach to enlighten. We don't teach to be teachers. Enlightenment is forever. Teaching can be forgotten. And that's what I said in all my work, all the time. I'm here to enlighten. I'm here to teach you the path to understanding the work of your own soul and no more. and then understanding the effect it has, the effect it had that is here to be, and what you can do about it. Because in the physical dimension is you who's responsible for caring, taking care of the soul. You are the external part. You are the protector. You carry the physicality of the body to make sure the soul inside is protected, elevated through your conduct and not through your misconduct. It's a easy time ahead. The time of suffering and all that man has been through is over. We don't promise a rose garden. We have already arrived at the garden. Promises has been going on for thousands of years, and the effort of what has been put together by mankind in past few years and what we have seen collectively, from the telephone to internet, those who created these are blessed souls. Now that has given us the opportunity to elevate, to be able to collect, to become the messengers of peace. In so many ways, the man who invented the telephone, the man who invented the electricity, the man who created the internet, the man who created the language that we can communicate and all understand simultaneously across this planet, these are all been the messengers of God working towards this point. That what they have created and shared knowledge with now can be used to bring peace about. So is blessed the soul of Tesla. The dimension of physicality is irrelevant. The understanding of the elevation of the soul of the man is more important. Physicality is the end process of transfer of energy, that then it has to transfer itself in a different dimension, where the soul of the man for a time being has no dimension, is free, and the conduct of the physicality gives it the level of freedom to become the creator. In a way, if you are a good student, you become a good teacher. I have taught you all the answers, all the fields. I have taught you everything you need to know to elevate your souls without stealing from another. In a way, every man has the capability and the power to become to the level of the soul of the prophet of the past, in serving not only humanity, but the universal community. I explain more and more in next 72 hours. Today, tomorrow, and we celebrate the beginning of a new life as a man of peace on Thursday. We write ourselves to peace. Tomorrow you will see a hectic work of many documents being signed by same people or different people, committing themselves to peace. Committing their language and the nations to peace, committing their areas to peace. These papers in the future become the gateway for peace on this planet. This is the beginning of the motion. As I said, tomorrow you will observe as we sign, each member of the Universal Council to the language they're appointed, or the country which is signed by both members of the councils, or the same council on 2 signatures, if the members have not come forward or the country has no representative, will become the beacon of peace, will become the guideline for the peace, and it will be celebrated in time to come by mankind. And as we put, exactly as we said yesterday, as we gave the key in exchange for peace to the world ambassadors around the world 4 or 5 years ago, and we announced it, this matter now, once every country signed, the Keshe Foundation team in the backgrounds are set to sign into the forum of the Keshe Foundation. Once you enter, that such a nation has entered itself for peace, the members of that nation get aware of it. Is not sitting in a meeting of the Zoom, it sits across the internet. This is the beauty of the system we use. In a way, we announce, and it sits in the, what you call the archives of the internet, and not anymore in the cradle of the Keshe Foundation. The members of the Keshe Foundation in background would release name one by one as the signatures come through. It's very much the election, but every man wins, and every man has a chance to win the peace for mankind. And as more and more people understand, in time, they more sign themselves into it. I was in a meeting today, and the officials agree that we take the papers, don't push us to sign immediately, let our government do it. Give them time, a few months time. We write it, that will take it to the government for signing. We have to understand that the movement of the peace which we have started on the back of the knowledge has and bears fruit of peace. A very good example of it. Those of you who made the coils and you connected it to the electricity, you have a fear of touching the electricity if the wire is naked. Now, those who have tested and made the correct coils or fields, they tell you they take energy from it. What was the fear? Because the technology is so correct and perfect in its balance for serving, creates pleasure, not the fear. We all know what Edison did to the elephant and the electric chair to put fear in mankind in regarding to AC. In what I've created on the nano layer, I've taken that fear away. Because you work in the world of plasma. But you take from it what you need. When I showed the drill, American and the European system in the ambassadors meeting in Rome, 1220 and 110, nobody understood that when you hold it, it's the energy strength of the body of the man, and the man takes according what it needs from it. That was a simple way to show. If you could get 220 and 110 from the same plug, and it's the same source, so can be used for the body of the man to elevate the, relieve the body of the man from its physical pain. Or, if it's done the right way, you can elevate the soul of the man, if you understand. And now that we've gone into the dynamic plasma fields and dynamic fields, rays of the plasma, we understand how much easier it has become. You always thought you can put the zinc in, but the zinc then you can give to one person. But if you can create 2 dynamic field flows that their strength released in the plasmatic condition is the strength of the zinc, you have changed the man of this planet altogether. So shall be the wishes of the members of the council. As now there are many of them. The beauty of it is, I explain tomorrow, the numbers of the councils increases the power of the council. The more member languages we have, the more we go to essence of the root, as we said, the creator, the solar system, and everything else shall be there. We have to understand to what level we can operate, to what level we can see, to what level we want to accept the reality, because from then on is not our choice, and in that process we have no choice but to understand that the choice is the choice of our soul, not our physicality anymore. We have to be able to understand that the soul of the man is the freedom of the man from the shackles of physicality. No one up to now, up to this time, has taught so much about the soul in an intriguing way, in a correct way, but understanding of it. The soul of the man, the minute you talk about it, it says this is this cord, this is that gland. Since when the soul of the man needs caging? Is free in its essence to create its own manifestation. Does not need to cage itself in a gland or whatever. The freedom of it comes from its strength and not from its containment. And if this understood by the man, soon you'll understand one reality. Life in the dimension of the creation has many beauties. And that is, we all stand to gain from the totality. As I said, today is the last day where the man thought of killing, and today is the last day when destruction was the way. You will understand from tomorrow when the man commits himself to world peace, will start thinking that way. You start reading how nations will change, how nations will go, and you get a feeling there are so many others in a position of power that they have feeling the same as you. They wish the end of American power because it's been nothing but mispower. There is a lot happening in the background which I prefer not to be discussed. But it can be taken up by the soul of the man to elevate himself. We were hunting to rob, now we serve to receive, to elevate our souls. Service to humanity, service to this planet, service to universal community will become a disease. That man will regret, why did we do this for centuries on this planet? Why nobody ever stopped us? But as I said, we had to do it this way because of a misfunctioning in the creation of the entity. It's very much we have and we seen children being born by a small problem, what we call in the birth tunnel, in changing from one cycle of life of liquid to air. Such a thing has happened in the creation of this planet. And as we have managed to find remedy to bring the child back to health by giving it the condition that what it missed in that point to switch, now the work of the Universal Council and Earth Council is that switching. that opportunity given to the man to switch. And man cannot miss this opportunity. The collective consciousness of the man would not allow it. Tomorrow, when on the forums of the Keshe Foundation, the announcement will go up with a heading, World Peace Treaty by the heads of the nations has been signed. People will come and have a look. And people will understand the change has come. We are not looking for praise and attention. We are looking for the change from inside, exactly where all the problems start, which is with the structure of this planet. That through our soul, we correct that misfunctioning. It's not anymore Ganses. It's from now on my soul. What do I have to do that I can create a condition that those who don't have, they receive? I become the channel, I become the way to peace. And with it, as I give more to achieve peace, I receive more to be able to create peace. Today is a goodbye, as I said, the Last Supper. With all the warmongering, with all the killing. And from tomorrow, we sign ourselves to our souls to one condition, peace on this planet, and the prize into opening up the universal community to mankind. You will see rapid developments in the space technology that the man could not even imagine a year ago. You will see changes and new systems and technologies which convert the life of man beyond imagination. As you thought the man has changed in past 80 years so much, as they say, you have not seen anything yet. The beauty of the universe shall open to the mankind. And then I am free to go home. It's been a harsh ride. It will not be easy, as those who try to divert it will do their best. But as we say, the stone is set and the cement has dried. The stone of peace will be there for all of us to enjoy. There is no more fear of shall we or could we enter. We have already entered. The process for celebration of man into universal community has already started. You will see more interactions and you will see more understanding of the interactions. Those who look for physical interaction, they'll find out they will reach through their soul and they feel it within them. There is no need for physicality. When the mankind signs himself to peace tomorrow, it finishes with the conduct of the past through the soul of the man. Signatures are symbolic. The commitment of totality in one day with all the nations of this planet to one nation, by tomorrow night will be completed. And on the completion, on the 3rd, we celebrate and welcome man to universal community. The knowledge flow and technological development for man, starting from Thursday, will be beyond the imagination of every single one of you. In next 10 years, the development and the progress will be so much that one of my fears has been, as I've explained, would they find many mankinds on this planet, as we all take to see the beauty of the universe. There'll be restriction on how many of us can travel, even though we give commitment of our souls to this planet. As those of us who want to stay needs caring, that is, We make sure when we leave a peaceful planet that our loved ones are at peace. The life cycle starting from Tuesday or Thursday will be very interesting. It's very much as I was explaining before. You know you're going on a long trip. You make sure all the electricity bill, telephone bill is paid, the wife has enough money in the house, the children have all the clothing, everything is there for Christmas and New Year because you're away. So you make everything ready and everything is tucked away, that is, everything is happy. This will come a disease for man who go to space, for the rest of human being. That the human race stayed behind, have everything, that in case not many of us come back, not to die, but to be attracted by the beauty of the universe, we forget what we had on the earth, they are all safe and sound. We see nowadays, and we've seen over past 30, 40 years, in 1970s was the Arabs, and then became the Japanese, and then became the Russians, and then it became the others, and now is the time of the Chinese. The all bosses come in, and the nations have become chameleon, just to change the bus, the writing from Arabic to Chinese now, because there's too many tourists of the China, because even the little man who didn't have any money 20 years ago now has become rich, that he can go and see the beauties of this planet. Go and see Niagara Fall, go and see this and that, and they travel. And now understand, the man needs to pay nothing to go into the space. Free trip. The building costs none, the feeding costs none, the protection and looking after costs none. So the trip for man of space will be free. And in that process, man lives with the beauty of the soul, to be free from everything else in its travel into space. You will be shocked in what is opening up. As I said many times, I have just opened a peeping hole for you to see. The changes will be so much that you yearn to go. And when you go, it's so beautiful that Earth, with all its beauty, it can stay there, it's been there, I go home when I've seen the universe. And you find out that life will not be in a matter of 50 or 100 years. Those who take to space will live thousands of years. Because you don't absorb the energies, extras that become cancers and tumors and deformities. Your body takes from the soup of the energy of the universe as it needs, and you become at peace. Man will lose his mouth, and man will lose his nose, and man will lose his ear. He feels, he receives, and he lives through the structure of his soul, through his brain. And in that time, even that will not be, because it can change. He chooses the dimension of his physicality through the choice of the environment of the manifestation. There is a beautiful time ahead. And in so many ways, we had to bring man to walk away from this deformity, and for man to forget aggression. When you see it, when you listen, when I hear the voice of the soul of mankind, it cries for one thing, and that's for peace. And we have responded. You'll be remembering the day I was there, I watched as it came on the screen. The most aggressive killing machine world, with the name of United States, this morning has signed his citizens to world peace. I'm proud to be American. You see the same with the Chinese speaking. I'm proud to be Chinese, to join the world peace community. We write man to his soul, and with it we carry the physicality of the man as a nation to one. All work has been done. Today is just dusting the last bits. Members of the council were at the table working for 6-7 hours last night to make sure everything goes according to what this position deserves. Writing the piece does not come easy, but now the time is to celebrate as we say goodbye to millions of years of nothing but destruction. Be ready for a huge change. Be ready for world peace to bring change to all of you in every dimension. The enlightenment from now on be beyond your imagination. As the new knowledge will be delivered to man in the different direction and positions in the universe, man will realize one thing: how little we knew and how big-headed we were, calling ourselves the king of the creation. But as the article said in China, in Accra, humility is the order of the day. The position of human race from Thursday on will change. In so many ways, instead of one, you have many, and many have become one. And our wishes is peace. And this peace process will grow beyond imagination of the man. It will grow to the point that men, seeing it, feeling it for millions of years, when they go to space, this time they don't become the Jews in Palestine to kill more and block more. This time, because they are inspired by the soul of the generation of the sufferers of this planet for centuries and thousands of years, they become the man of peace. The structure, the order is already been set. The whole process has taken years to plan, over centuries. Now you understand why we have chosen this path. It's not ours anymore, it's in the hand of human race. It's you who got to understand the responsibility and the order of time is peace. The structure of time is unity and oneness. And in so many ways, by getting to this point, we come to understand one further point. We have to put in structure that no such a thing will happen on this planet again. We look for the guardians of those who devote their souls to be those who serve mankind, to make sure the anomaly which has happened in the creation of this planet will never happen to take hold. That they are there to give from their souls to become beacons of peace. You will find the structure will become that many of the human race will give their life totally to make sure what is needed to balance the shortage of the mankind in the race of this planet will never raise his head out. That allows the condition of peace to be evolved. Man will learn when he sees the joys of peace, that he'll put structures in position that nowhere, no time, such a thing will happen again. The armies become the army of souls who create only the field that is needed. Because you have to understand, as they give, they receive more. So through it, they elevate themselves to become as part of totality. Life will carry on for hundreds of thousands of years. No man will die in the age of 60 or 100. The joy of serving is so much that does not end. The falling in love with serving will be so beautiful that no one wants to fall out of love. It's not a promise anymore. It's not a land of honey and whatever. We have reached a point. Mankind has, is, and arrived at the gate of change. As a day of the promised day, that the peace will come. Today is the last day, and tomorrow mankind signs himself to peace. Many wishes has created this condition. Many wars has yearned for peace. Now the soul of the man has reached that peace. From tomorrow, you will see something very, very simple. Any language, a new way of shaking hand will take over. Where I give my energy, where I give to you, where I don't waste my energy. If you understand, if you go back, if you look at the culture of man, those races who have elevated themselves, those who become more synchronized, they hold hand from left to right. You give your left hand to the right of another man, and you hold your right hand to the left. The right gives, the left takes. And in me, you take what is not for me, you carry on. Very much like Alex's beads. Alex's bead is a replication of the life in the universe. Shaking hand the way we do, right with right hand, it means I demand separation. Look at the physicality of the magnet. Two exit points create separation. Man by his own handshake has created condition of separation. The new way of sharing and greeting will not be the way you are. The members of Motion team has been shown the reason, and you see them shaking hand, you see them, their emotions. They become one, which means I give from me to your hand. I don't shake right to right to create separation. Everything in the psychology of the man has never been put the right way, but we followed it because that's what it was. At the beginning, it will look odd to you, but don't forget the ethos of giving, loving. I give through my right hand. From what I have gathered more to give, and you receive from your left hand. Without worrying that what I give. Because you know you receive when you need. If you look at the, what I call old traditional way of praying or dancing, we've done that for centuries, but we lost the knowledge why we do it. The elevation of the soul comes in every way, shape and form. The understanding of the operation of the physicality is the essence of the creation from now on. The reality that I'm a giver, not the separator. Have you noticed how nations greet each other? Have you noticed how you love your child? How you share love and care with your child? Then ask yourself, do I shake hand with my child or do I greet him through my soul? When you see your lover, do you shake hand with or you hug and you give from the heart? The proximity of the soul, so close. Man will learn to change so many things which has accepted unknowingly or knowingly to create separation, because he has forgotten to elevate his own soul. A lot of changes will come into progress that you will see. It brings so much joy that you welcome it. As I said, all of the mankind will become motions, which means brother. Which means love unconditional. It's a privilege to be at this point in the time of human race, to see the end of so much misery. It's an honor to be able to serve. It's for all of us to understand. Today is the last day the soul of any being on this planet has committed in destruction. As tomorrow, the essence of the signing of the peace treaty by mankind through his own chosen souls to serve will bring such a force into operation that makes man, the humanity, to go in the new direction. Those who have been warmongering will try to have a last go, but their soul is aware of the change. I will explain something to a lot of you in different path of belief, that tomorrow in signing the humanity to peace, the soul of many prophets of the past will be present. Because they promised to stay. In Quran, in Kitab al-Qas, in Torah, in Bible, in all the Hindu and other path of belief, the promised day is tomorrow. When the mankind signs himself to peace. You will see the changes. You will feel the changes. And where we sit, we see the most powerful nations have agreed to the same. The new papers will be signed by the members of the Earth Council and Universal Council. It will not be anymore that we are a member. It will be we demand as members. We demand peace from the world leaders. We demand action for peace from world leaders. The members of the Earth Council and the Universal Council, after Thursday, who will speak as the heads of this planet as one nation, not as a council which is being awaiting to be. In a way, tomorrow is inauguration of peace for mankind, as the soul of the man signed itself to its existence. You have to understand that the soul of the man from tomorrow will synchronize with the soul of the planet, and with it, they change the course of mankind. In the coming months and years, we'll see a total change in behavior, in understanding, and in the totality of the interaction of the being on this planet. As the totality elevates, as we will understand more and more in the work of this system. Do you remember the promised day when the gates of heaven opens up? That day has arrived. Everything which you've been promised had to be the day of end and a new beginning for human race, for this planet, starts from tomorrow. Because the totality of the soul of the man will work in one direction, for creation of serving, or what we call falling in love, or in another word, peace, which means in the ethos of the man, there shall not be any more animosity. There shall not be jealousy. There shall not be, I want more because I can have whatever I need. One of the agreements we've done with the organizations which work around Keshe Foundation, that you will see the factories of the Keshe Foundation around the world, is one of the first systems we promote to market. Is the systems that can give you whatever you need to produce whatever your need be. The beauty of it is so simple. The promotion of the material direction of the man will take priority, which means we flood the markets of the world through the Chinese manufacturing with systems can produce any material you need. Don't forget, it's a knife on a cutting blade. It's the interaction of the two fields, like the earth and the sun, which the residual field strength with the gravitational field the strength of the earth converts it to a matter state. We've seen Peter doing it. Now it'll be marketed in such a way that you can produce whatever you need. Cost less than $10. You can produce kilos of gold every day and kilos of silver every day, and within a few days, gold worth nothing, silver worth nothing, and the production factories of the world will be flooded with all the metals and what man has so much respect for, and now worth nothing. So simple. And how man has not got to it for past millions of years, we are puzzled. You have a disease, you run a system, and it gives you what you're short of to get rid of the disease. No man will die of any pain, no man will die of any disease, unless he wishes to release his soul from his physicality, that he can serve another dimension. Life for man from tomorrow, and what we have said to come out in the coming time, becomes immortal. Because you all understand the technology. It's not me anymore, it's millions of you doing it. The promised day has come, and it's for you to embrace it. As I said a few weeks ago, I have finished teaching. I absolutely finished teaching because I brought the maturity of understanding of totality of the man, as was the promise of Baha'u'llah, to the equal to the prophet of the past. Now is for mankind to move to the next step, to become mature with the knowledge of the universe and not this planet, to become mature in understanding the totality of the purpose of creation, and not with having a few cows breeding and living. Man in deep space will start life beyond imagination. So many of you in the next few months and years will say, why did we got stuck in that village? Why didn't we put so much in destroying that we forgot we could develop and be here so much earlier? What was the purpose of all that suffering? But it carries with you one thing: forgive, but do not forget that man nowhere and no being nowhere in this universe and the unicos should ever go through it. I chose the example of the Israeli yesterday deliberately. For you to understand, once you leave this planet, do not repeat the same mistakes as the tribe of Israel. Learn from their lack of understanding and learn from their misconduct. That it becomes their failure, your success to succeed in peace in the universe. The vast amount of knowledge and what you come across in the space is so beautiful, is so enriching the soul of the man, that no man will accept no one as a prophet, but a level of more understanding that you desire to understand, that you can elevate your own by being able to give more to those who teach you. When you meet the members of the universal community, remember one thing: the first thing you say is exactly what we say. Salam, Shalom. Means a man of peace. Peace on you, which means I give from my soul, that you receive what you need, that you find yourself equal to me, that you do not need to take anything from me. The language of universe is for mankind to understand the conduct of the universe. And I have taught you enough as a teacher for you to understand that in entering the universal community, the conduct of the man is one thing: to be gracious, to be a giver, that by giving you elevate the soul of the man or a being in front of you, that you understand his language and his needs, not for him to understand you. And then you'll find you become man of peace in the universe. Where they see you, they say this guy is from the blue planet. You become what I call like Persians of the present time. We are very proud and we are very arrogant about it. For 300 years, we have not crossed our borders to fight anyone because we got mature. This is how to be. We are men from the earth. For 1,000 years, we haven't seen anyone being killed. Because nothing has been destroyed, because we elevate the soul of everyone in every way, and we have put a structure in there that the mistakes of the past and the lack of the deficiency is not there anymore, that humans become the symbol of peace and freedom in the universe. When you meet a new friend in the universal community, they are proud to know a man from earth. He's a man of peace. You're welcome home. In the recent past, I spent quite some time with an extremely wealthy man. Wealth beyond the need for anything. And I listened to him and his family for quite a while. The problem was that my family did this and they did that, and my family did this and they did that, and in the course of conversations many things was discussed or spoken. In understanding that what he was talking, what the family was talking about, I asked him one question. I said, you speak so much. From what I hear you telling me on the other side, what have you done wrong? He said nothing. I said, do you want me to repeat your words from my mouth? He said, what do you mean? I explained to him in a very simple sentence, and he understood. One instant, all the hate, all the animosity, everything just ran out of him. And I saw the soul changing. And I said to him, he said, you have become my father. And now I understand. While I was sitting there, the text changed, the information changed, and a hate, a condition of the future to be going through the courts, became a text message of, let's get together, brothers and sisters. When you judge yourself correct way, when you're at peace with yourself, you'll find out the position. He wrote to me afterwards, in so many ways I can read it for you. I love you, my brother. We have to judge ourselves before we judge the others. And in the space you need this, because then you work with a transparent soul, not with part of the information as you are used to on this planet. The time has come, and today is the last day of it. The promised day is tomorrow. And you cannot even believe it, how you all walked into it. What a clever master. He took us from the science to the soul, and then he hammers it with us, what we've been waiting for. The wishes of man has been to reach the point of the final day, the day of judgment. And today is the day of judgment, and tomorrow is the beginning. Irrespective of who listens, the souls will balance themselves from now on. This is our wish, and as we give, we reach this point. In so many ways, as I said, today is the last speech. It's the last supper of animosity in mankind. It'll be the day when we see the abolishment of the courts, the abolishment of the military forces, the abolishment of the kingship, the abolishment of one man being higher than the other. Mankind today will say goodbye to millions of years of misconduct. And in totality, does not matter where you live, does not matter if you understand the language of the verbal of the man, the mankind will do one thing, and that is mankind will sign itself to peace. Tomorrow is a beautiful day. Be there, be with us, be with yourself, and bring peace on this planet. The members of the Universal Council, all 14 members of the core team, the 6 members of the Earth Council, be prepared for a long run, many coffees and many teas, to sign some 200 papers, to sign mankind in every language and corner of this planet to peace. Will take a marathon run, but by the 3rd it will be completed. Many of the signatories will be done in the back as the new ones come in. We'll announce and we broadcast. If the team decides to go on the marathon till end of Thursday night, till we finish the celebration, you're quite welcome. From tomorrow morning when we start at 10 o'clock, we'll go all the way through to see the time of 12 o'clock for the change of man signing himself to peace, and on the 3rd for celebration of arrival of peace on this planet. I thank all the Keshe Foundation supporters for bringing humanity to this point. There was no other way to do it. And I hope and I desire peace for all creatures on this planet. And with it, we welcome mankind to universal community. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Keshe. Would you like to take some questions, or how's your time?
Would you leave me without any questions? Have you ever
Not
done
likely.
183 teachings or nearly 200?
But you usually say, is there any questions? But
I think I answered all the questions of mankind.
well,
yes.
I must say, usually we have questions in the Q&A. There's somebody, Alex, who wants to share something part of the teachings, but there's no question there. There's no question in the live stream. I think people are a bit questionless, let's say.
Yes, the nice thing is
However,
that this Mr. Alex exists. Is he alive?
I think that's
this man deeply.
I think it's a different Alex, but
is it our Alex from the Universal Council, from the Earth Council?
I'm not sure. I don't know the Alex, so I didn't want to see if he had something to share without seeing it first.
Unless it's to do with the work of what we are doing, you can keep it till the following Thursday.
Okay, I'll.
If it's to do with the process of peace, we have no problem.
We've got John Bliven, though, who would like
Hello,
to
Mr.
say
Keshe.
something.
Hello, John. Good morning to you, or good evening to you.
Oh, it's early morning. So I got 2 questions I'd like to ask, and if I go into areas that are the wrong areas, just tell me so. We're perfecting our method for making stronger tritium, and when we make the tritium, we make it with the CO2 GANs, and the CO2 GANs that we have left over. It's my feeling that this is no longer CO2 GANs, but rather a stronger version of GANs material that's left behind and shouldn't be mixed with any of the other CO2. Is that a valid understanding when we put the CH3 in the middle of the 2 plates? Okay, maybe that was one that wasn't supposed to be talked about. How about
No, I'm trying to understand, because that is not what it is. Exactly, it stays the same. You have not found the spectrum of the fields of it. It could be even weaker than the stronger.
I'm sorry, I don't understand that response.
The field which you have created for extraction of the CO2 from CH3,
Yes.
the reason some is left there is not necessarily that it's stronger. It could be the weaker range that you have not managed to absorb.
So would you say that that's then CO2?
That is a select, it's still a CO2, but it's isotopes of the strength. What you have extracted is of the strength, and what you had, not of the strength of the totality. You haven't made the full spectrum. So there is some left, it could be lower in the strength, not necessarily higher.
Okay. So,
Can I ask you a question?
sure.
How is your system going on with the way you see the elevation of the feelings of the soul of the man? You are more or less one of the few who are very pioneering in that direction. How does
Well,
it feel to go inside the system now?
we figured out a lot of the, I'll call it the tricks. Right now, we definitely have strong feels from the hydrogen
But
ganses.
what does it do in your emotion and your feeling when you come across it?
So
What feeling?
I've put a number of different people, including some of our people in the factory, in front of the machine, if you will, the dynamic reactors, because my feeling is I get a very strong emotional connection to the reactors, and I feel a lot of energy coming from the reactors, enough to make my hands sweat, and it's like an energy field that it's like I subconsciously know that it's balancing energy fields within me. It's like the energy flows through me, and the longer I stay in it, I know that it's better. That it's doing more and more balancing. Other people have actually been into the fields and experienced, let me call it, altered states, where they will be moved into, other experiences. Some have gone into the fields and have a difficult time feeling much of anything. So it's kind of a mixed bag, but
No, let me explain to you what you just said a few minutes ago and what I explained with your CO2 GANs. When you cannot reach, some people don't see, it means you have not produced the strength to the level of their souls and emotion. This we discussed before. This we mentioned before in other teaching. That when, as I said a few seconds ago, when people do not see effect from a system, tune your system that you see the effect. It means you haven't learned about the full spectrum. You have missed an isotope. When you use certain CO2s and you see a better result, it means that CO2 which you created has zinc in it, because you used zinc plates. And it carries that in its principal field forces in the center. Try to understand. Try to be wise enough that now with the intelligence and the knowledge you carry, that you understand the totality. When you cannot see, when you cannot, people cannot feel, it means you have missed an isotope of the field strength of emotion. This means that we need to extend the knowledge. We need to understand a little bit more. We need to be able to give more. It means, hold on, I need to understand. I need to be able to do. Now you tell me why it doesn't work on some people. It means that we have to test. We have missed one strength. How do we make it? Nowadays you cannot be blind to it that okay, it didn't work on some people. It means I haven't understood the totality. If it affects one, it means it can affect the others. It's for us to understand.
Okay, I think I do understand. I think we're doing some things a little bit different to let me say improve the situation. We have this was some of the earlier testing, but we have some new testing that we're very excited about. So check back with me in a couple days.
Yes, I'll check back, but as you are the head research center in the Keshe Foundation in space, you have to, when you come with the knowledge by now, you should understand how we did and what it did and the way it done. And we try to understand more spectrum. Change the copper plates and change the zinc plates. When you make GaNs of, you try to make the GaNs of CH3 that through the hydrogen enriched tritium hydrogen, mix a few CO2 mixtures from different plates and production, that you cover the spectrum. Because each system creates and depends on how it's done. It is to extend the knowledge which is important. Put two different kind of plates, change the plates inside, that you understand the totality.
Okay, I'll try that. My second question has to do with we're testing a crystal that we put in the middle of the energy fields, and it's my thinking that I've connected to the crystal my body, and it's my feeling that I'll be able to bring those energy fields into that crystal and be able to take that crystal to a different location and have it carry the fields of the dynamic reactors that we were working with, including it was my thinking that this is how we get to creating the rays of the field. Any comments?
You repeated, you understand it.
You want me to repeat it again?
Yes, you repeat what you said and I think you understand yourself.
So I'm working with the crystals,
Yeah.
and my heart tells me that the crystals can carry the energy, and we're putting the crystals in the fields of the dynamic reactors after we've connected the crystals to, in this case, my body through the I'll say rubbing the crystals and breathing them. And it's my feeling that I'll be able to take that crystal after we've left it in the dynamic reactor fields to a new location and carry the fields of the dynamic reactor and have it be like the rays of the fields that you were talking about the other day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, that was my thinking, and that's what we're testing now. And I just wanted to throw that out there that I'm not all wet.
But if you look at it, this is what we explain in the elevation of the soul of the man.
Where you can do without the crystal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I understand that. I understand that.
Put it this way. Put it this way. Our place in a different way and in two different directions. If you understood that the soul of the man has no container, then you understand that the crystal is another symbol of containment of physicality. Then you understand that we have to learn that we can work with no containment. If you understand how a neutron in its conversion or in sharing of the fields divides into an electron and a proton, as we said, nobody puts a container for it to have a size. It's the field strength of the environment of the universe which dictates it. So if you understood that much, you can transfer the energy without containment from one core to another to become the feeder, to become the source. Then you don't need a crystal. This is all the purpose. We try to walk you that we understand the totality. Now we're becoming without the dimension. The crystals we used was for man to have a point of reference. Now that we have educated enough, we understand we do not even need a crystal. We don't see a crystal containment in the brain of the man. So,
Okay, I got it.
now you tell me, do you need a crystal? Or is crystal a way of confirmation of what I've done is correct? Does man need to receive confirmation? That's what I'm trying to say. I understand what you're doing, but as you are the head researchers in this technology. I try to explain, to enlighten, that with it, the soul you have is so beautiful that you allow to enlighten the others. In a way, you ask a question which in response enlightens many people to do others. But it brings to one point, do we need the physicality? Do we need that crystal? Or is our soul the crystal, the containment? And it can decide if to make the crystal of diamond or the crystal of the structure of our nail or anything we wish. We are very advanced in your work, but on the other hand, we cannot get totally entangled in physicality.
Thank you. I understand.
Thank you.
Hello?
Right?
Yes. Hello, sir. Thank you for the honor that I can talk to you. Thank you very much for all you have done for me and people I can help through me. Thank you very much. I have a question about women difference between men and women, as in cosmogony, Chinese and Qigong. Women start the movements from one side, the man is the other side. We finish the exercise with putting hands, for example, on the belly, the right hand, and cover with left, and they do otherwise. And in meditation also, when we sit, we put the hands, women put the left hand cover with right hand, men opposite side. What about
Can you repeat again, please?
like I think somebody who knows Qigong Chinese, who know yin and yang and energy, Qigong and Qi energy, they are probably, if they are a specialist, like when we were doing the courses, we had men start the exercise from right foot, women should do from left. We finish the exercise, men put the left hand on the bellies and then cover it with right. Women put on the opposite, also with sitting, like as left is yin and right is yang, I don't make mistake, and women are yin, men are yang, top is yang, down is yin, and sky is yang, and the earth is yin. So there are two different situations regarding Chinese cosmogony. Like it's easier to do it like that. And sometimes in some meditation they say women sit apart from men because the energy is not the same. Or don't use the towel of your husband or wife, it's not the same energy.
What you exactly mean? You always are not exactly the same energy, because you put in it what you do not want or you have over of when you leave your right. Then the left, if you look at it, is a south pole and the right is a north pole. The energy which is within you, which is not needed and is to give, is given through the right hand. They can never be equal. One is equal, and is not equal even when you die physical life.
Yes. Yes. So that's the Chinese question. And as far as, thank you. And as far as the Last Supper, like in this Last Supper, there was a Judah also. I hope There's no Jude at this time in the Last Supper.
They were and they are in different names.
I hope it doesn't finish the same way.
We'll see.
So we do the maximum praying and good wishes, and we have confidence, we have trust on our Creator for our happiness.
It's the beginning of a new beginning, and it's a new cycle.
Another question, I'm sorry, I take your time. When you were talking about the importance of people is how much they give, about 38 years ago, I heard it from another man on the poster, and he said this: the most important of you is the one who gives more service. And I had this poster, and he was also saying, woman is the most important factor in a family. And I love this word.
Yes, because you're a woman.
Yeah, because we are important. I think
We're all important. Now we are all important.
Yeah, but I think a woman can handle a man, can change the form.
Do you know how hard, can we stop this conversation? Do you know how hard it is for men to handle women? You don't sit on the other side of the fence. You women are not so easy to handle. But we love you so much that we tolerate.
Mehran.
Thank you very much. That's true. That's true. I agree. It's very easy to be a woman.
You see, Carla, you have a wise Iranian woman on the line.
No, you are absolutely right. I'm very happy to be a woman because now we have every opportunity. We have opportunity like men to go to do what we want in science, in everything, go to space. And at the same time, we have kept our own, like woman is more satisfying physically for herself than a man for himself. We have.
How do you know? How do you know? How the whole problem is we are all equal. But in our soul, we decided two different roles. I'll be the gatherer and I'll be the provider. And the other one is I will harvest, you harvest the universe for me, and I harvest from the universe a child for the existence of the soul of the man. If you look at it in a different way, we're all equal.
Yes, that's true.
And when we try to create a one nation, one race, it means the soul of the man to be one, the soul of the planet to be one. So irrespective of if you are a male, female, or whatever, our soul is one, and this is to serve humanity. This is the true essence of it. So a lot of the words which has been used up to now needs to be thought in a different way that does not separate, does not create division. Division is the essence of war, conflict. Because once you divide, you have to defend.
Yes.
Can you re-explain or redefine Mother Earth is a cutter?
Mother Earth is not a cutter, is a provider.
Yeah, but she's doing a cutting process, you said, for that to be completely understood.
No, it's not cutter. It's interaction with the field of the sun creates a condition that leads to creation of subplasma packages, that the interaction of those subplasma packages as one plasma leads to the creation of life.
So, if I understand, but in a more easier way for people to understand, she creates the small, efficient packages for life to start existing on this planet.
We missed
Is
you.
that
We missed part of your work, your words.
I said to make it easier for understanding for people, can you use a different terminology? As in a way, what I understood or try to understand and to bring it across is she she assembles or she collects the right amount of packages in energy or in the energy level or form for it to be available on this planet to then to be, I do not know, high or materializing into life form to be
Yeah, these
available.
are all technicality of how you explain it. In
Yes,
reality,
have to
is
find a way
you see,
that
we create one soul, and that soul, in respect to its environment, decides what to be. That it finds peace with itself. So, the essence is the totality of the universe which invests in that soul. It's not just the soul which came from the father part or the mother part. Once that seed goes into motion, it's like a twin solar system. They rotate, they are dynamic till they find balance and they become one. And in that point is when the soul of the creation is created. And in that process of chasing each other to create one soul, it absorbs energy from outside, which part of it is of the universe and the universe and the rest.
so we
So
would
it's
have
no explanation. If let me finish, Madame De Rosa.
no. Before you go any further, because the discussion came when Rick can bring the video back forward, which he showed yesterday. We see two beams of energy. And then the discussion started, is it one or is it two? And then because the discussion came, you always draw from like a circle from within to out or from out to in. But I want you to really, in easy way, try to explain this. That there is for other people in a different level of understanding, that there is no confusion in one says it's two, one says it's one, and then that the earth is flat,
There is
and we said it's
they can say anything. It doesn't change
no.
their.
This brings forward that they are worried about it, they're working with it, they try to understand. So when we have
Worried
you here
about what? Can you complete? What are they worried about?
to understand completely, that's all. But
What
maybe
to complete
with
to
this
understand
word,
what?
the life, if Rick could bring the video back, he made a video by himself when he was playing with the fields and the images. It's a very beautiful one because we even asked him to add Flint, a very nice part of music to it. So if Rick can bring it forward and then let it play, and then people said it's one, it's two, but everybody is confused. What is it? So
It's
if you
two which
see it,
become one. It's the two which become one. And then
that
the one which needs a second one to become two to create another one. So it's always two to become one. But the one itself carries two, is both gravitational and magnetic. So when it's two, it's four.
Rick, do you have the video?
Let me explain to you something which maybe not understood up to now. Maybe I can explain it. Can I share this screen? I'm going to share the screen to draw something. I did this some times ago, and somewhere the knowledge is lost. If you look at it, if you understand the explanation of it, you are going, if you call it the right hand, to be magnetical. At the same time, you're going left hand to be gravitational, or vice versa. So you cannot be always giving. As you give, you expose higher strength gravitational. You cannot be taking. As you take more, you create higher magnetical. So there is always two within. Depends at the point of the strength balance, what the strength is, which element manifests itself, what the soul manifests itself as. A soul which is of the taker or of the giver, more strength of which. But don't forget, if you look down this, it's itself like this. Two. It's not a straight line. The two, they go out like a helix. That each point here and here have to find balance. Have to be in balance, otherwise the point doesn't exist. And then what we see at this point manifests itself as the physicality at that point. There is always two within the one, because you're always gravitational, what is magnetical, what is getting pulled is getting rejected from the other side, which pushes it.
Maybe I should show the video and we could go over
Please,
the part
go
that
ahead.
we were talking about there.
Go ahead.
Okay, well, there's two versions. I can just show the version that I made up. So sure, let me share that. And we'll go to the point where that occurred. I think it's this one. That's the different one, actually. Let me just get the other one up here.
Do you want me to play background music?
I think Flint would have that covered, but no, we should be okay.
Get a fresh coffee or a tea.
Who?
You.
Oh, I'm sitting here, I've got nowhere to go.
Okay, so this is the way it goes. I just threw in this as an intro on this one. I was playing around with some animation stuff. But here we get into where I used part of the other video, the plasma video that we normally use, this one here. Now, we talk about the principal rays, but then they get intertwined at this point. So I just back it up, and if we just run it in slow motion, we see two rays that intertwine here. But what you're saying is that each single ray intertwines on itself and creates both the magnetical and gravitational.
No. Each ray on itself, I speak a lot of time about the banana. Each ray itself has a magnetical outfitting and a gravitational infitting. It's like a tube inside the tube.
Right. So when it curls, it doesn't take two of these rays to do that. It just takes one in order to create the structure that you showed us, right?
Yeah.
So is there a sperm and egg then in that
More or less, it's
realm?
both.
Right.
It's both. And if part of the strength of the magnetical in releasing itself become balanced with of the gravitation of the tail end, then it becomes a loop closed and the new life starts.
Let it play, Rick. It's beautiful.
And that was my animation that I put together. That was last year, actually, just to try to as a some inspiration for the animators that really know how to animate. Anyway,
That was nice. But in fact, when you look at it, when the field tails itself comes in touch with its own or creates the plasma, now this creates a ball which interacts with the field of the environment where it was above, and creates a friction which is like its light. This is what becomes sun. You see this point, when you become dynamic in both dimensions, now you interact with the fields of the environment, so the residual is light. And that's how the sun is created.
Now, with this principle, how does a human physicality gets created with the soul?
The physicality with the soul, I've done this before. I'm going to double charge you, Madame De Rosa, because you didn't listen last time. Now it's a tutorial. Tutorial is not private. Okay. You know, when the lazy students don't understand, they have additional teaching, so this costs money.
Excuse me, Monsieur Mehran Tavakoli Keshe.
this is
This, look at
summer
this.
school here.
Yeah, look at this. This is again span. When this has its own soul.
Please move your screen up, please. It's not visible.
It should be visible.
I think you have to turn your screen. Just turn it sideways.
Then,
got it. Thank you.
now you know why I love this woman. Now, when it comes like this in that position is there. But the closeness interaction creates motion into this. The same as with this. When it becomes all amalgamated, I call it A and beta, you can understand. Now A rotates as B rotates. As we said, it's a mayhem. It's materials in there that in friction with this plasmas, what we call the souls, the center fields. It's like the electrons trying to find. Electrons jump out, but here they can't jump out. Now they are in the capsule, they have to interact. This one could be slightly stronger than this one. So as it's trying to find the balance of the motion, they create field which here internally is balanced. Now they start pulling fields from the environment which is around them, because now these two have become very powerful. They have more power than the liquid around outside. So the field interaction creates absorption, because they not only give, now they take, because what they don't need from the strength they are giving out, so they create a flow in the womb of the mother, in the liquid of the womb. So this commotion carries on till the point that in becoming balanced, they become one. And at this point, it becomes a new entity. Now it has its own soul. And now because it has its own soul, it dictates the features.
Can you go back and use the words in the physicality to connect it to your explanation?
This is all physical. All this is physical.
You got to name these. The sperm, the egg.
Doesn't matter, whatever you call it is irrelevant. You call this egg, this call this sperm, this call this sperm, or this egg. The reality, the process doesn't change.
I know.
One is slightly different in the strength than the other. And this change, this difference in the strength dictates if it's going to be a boy or a girl. Now you call it the Y chromosome, call it the Z chromosome, or whatever. One has got less, one has got more, but this is irrelevant. And it works as a plasma. It's a dynamic plasma. And then as this process goes, it absorbs more and gives more. So it starts its own cycle of life. And now it's a new soul.
It is for it to be fully understood.
It's fully understood.
No. Yesterday, we were trying to walk through the egg and the sperm. Then you said they have to accumulate a certain strength, let's say number 10, as you said. In what stage of the development of the process of the physicality can the soul start being created, or it takes its position? That's
it takes its position when this takes position when the two send two electrons, they become one. They give the residual at the same time, which helps with the division. This is so simple.
But at what stage? In what period of
it doesn't have time, depends on what is absorbed from the womb of the mother, what is absorbed from universal energy, what is absorbed from totality of the environment, from the soul of the father, even the soul of the grandfather, or the whatever. There is a philosophy, a school of thoughts in the research and development that they say the gene fingerprint goes back up to 500 generations, but in fact goes to the first generation, let alone how many down the line you are. Because I always said before, we built on, if it's 500, where was the rest of it? Because the rest was carried on that the 500 and one built on it. So when we look at the DNA of the man, it's from the first day the man was created. Back to the first time when the amino acids of the planet landed on the salt water. Today I was with scientists, when I said this, I could see their ears burning. How can it create blood from the water? But that's not we understand.
So in fact,
we understand the process.
So in fact, it accumulates from the day of creation, from the point of creation, from the first point of creation. It accumulates all the energies, so it carries all the information from whatever was before.
I'm gonna explain something which has got to be understood. When you talk about accumulation, go back to law of plasma. The weakest gives for the smallest to become in balance with itself. So the egg and the sperm in combination of themselves are weaker. Even when they become the first soul, they're weaker compared to the fields of the womb of the mother, to the fields of the solar system, galaxy, and the rest of the universe. So because of their weakness, according to the strength of the spiral, they attract from all levels and all dimensions. The whole of the universe takes part in the development of the soul of the man. Because it's not just taking from the mother, it's taking from the strength of the deepest space, which is specifically needed. Like what I said, 500 generation is not enough. Because we have to understand, we are part of the universal operation. We are not isolated to the womb of the mother. This is what we have accepted because we never understood the totality. Now we understand the totality. You understand, we are actually the creatures of the universe. The field of the ray of a being in such a position which has released, it doesn't need, has become part of you. In a way, that's what I said in the teaching. If you understood, we welcome you back, children, to the cradle of the universe.
Mr. Keshe, sorry, your sound is fading.
You have to understand, this is the point which has to be understood. We are not creatures of the womb of the mother. We are the creatures of the womb of the universe. And by the same measure, when we mature in the containment of the soul, we are the cradle of the soul of the man. We are the guardians. Our physical body is a guardian of our souls to make guarantees, make sure that it reaches its peak of maturity. We call that point of maturity death, separation. So it has to be a glorified move, not a sorrow move. Because now it's free to elevate at a higher order. We gathered it with our work, we gathered it with our action, we gathered it with our praise, we gathered it with us serving the humanity. Without us, it does not exist. We are, once we are given the physicality of protecting it, we are responsible for it. In a very symbolic way, Christ washed the feet. Or what we see the Pope does, as we say, in the name of the Christianity. What does it mean? It's humiliation, that I am equal. But now it's become a symbol of advertising. The people have to wash their feet 10 times before they come there for the man to wash. It is to be understood, and it's very simple. We are made of every field of the universe, not just from the womb of the mother. We are weaker in different strengths by mass, and then we receive from the universal energy in different strengths to fulfill the mass. And in that process where we grow. And then it's the size of the field of the strength of the center of universe which dictates the size of the cell. Very simple.
So in a way, the whole universe and the galaxies, this is a birth canal for new souls.
Now click, now you understood why the soul of the man is needed for the creation of new stars and solar systems. Now you understand.
In the physical world.
Yes. Now you understand.
And that's why you say we are not from this planet. We come through to materialize our strength from the galaxies and the universes to create matter.
We're all part of it.
Yeah. But this is the manifestation in the matter state.
Yes, but that manifestation in the matter state leads to manifestation in non-dimensional strength, which is the soul of the man.
Yeah, but it uses that kind of physicality to become a full creator of new.
It's a containment. How do you, this is what I explained in the court to the allegations of Mr. Delannoy. Now you understand. How can you contain a plasma? The only way you can contain a plasma is by magnetic fields, by layers of magnetic fields, what we call nano layers. And that's what the structure of the body of the man is. A GANS is a nano structure, is a plasmatic field structure. And that is why the soul of the man has such a characteristic. It's contained as a field within the structure of the nano layers. That's why touch the soul and you understand.
Mr. Keshe?
Yes.
Good day, Mr. Keshe. Jalal here. Is it like, I have two questions. One is it like cocoon?
Yes, but the cocoon is the brain of the man for holding till matures. It's like a diamond, it's like a pearl. The body, the brain of the man is very much the oyster growing a pearl, which is the soul of the man.
Okay.
It's unique, it's beautiful.
Beautiful. Can you explain about halal and haram? You know what I
There
mean?
is no halal, there is no haram. Depends which side of the fence you sit. You know, in the Western world, what do you call haram and what do you call halal? What you receive without the consent of the giver should not be, is wrong. You call it haram. Haram means forbidden, is wrong. Halal means when you receive it with it as a gift, as a love, with a consent.
Yeah, this is the meaning. How can I receive it from the man who the creature who is giving it to me, and how I ask it?
You receive. You don't ask it. You give unconditionally, and if you need it, you receive it. This has to change in the structure of the understanding of the man. I don't give it that I receive. I give it with a pleasure that I don't need. And because of it, if I need, I receive. You don't give to receive. You give unconditionally without expecting the receipt.
That we are learning. But in the meantime,
that's all you got to keep on learning.
And this is a process, I mean.
I would like to bring one topic on the table, that people are, or there are posting that the earth is flat, but we...
Let them be, let it be.
No,
the people can post.
No. In the discussion, it came, or I tried to explain, how can that be if every creation is spherical? Everything we see, even with our eyes, visually, the sun, the moon, the other planets, they're all circles, they're all spherical. But I would like you to explain why it cannot be flat, because that needs to be...
It can be flat. It can be flat. If you create specific conditions of the field strength of the same common denominator, it will be flat. It's the skin of the man.
Yes, I know, because
so we have to find...
It's flat. But they have to understand the conditions in why it's flat.
Listen, there is a, you know what they call attention seeking? These people speak this way, they're looking for attention, so give it to them. It's flat, yes it is, okay. No problem.
Mehran.
They put it this way, the horizon of the man is 17 miles, am I correct, or 25 miles, I've forgotten my books. We can't see anymore because it drops. If it is flat, the sun will pop out in Mongo, blip. It doesn't. Those who say flat, you say yes. At least it finishes with the argument. Because I put a light behind a square box and I rotate it. You see the same effect as you see when you put a revolving ball in front of the same light. The sun is a light. Flat, whatever, it's a torch which shines. You make a square box and rotate in front of it, and you stand on the point of vision, and you see if you see the same thing. It's so simple. These people can argue anything. I need attention. So now from today, the earth is hollow center and everybody falls through it. Pay me attention. You put people in North Pole, see if you can catch them in the South Pole. It's a very simple, this carries on with the people who don't understand the logic of the physics, or at least are caught in the wrong side, as we call it. Anybody tells you the earth is flat, says, okay, this is the light. Tell me how you want to sun. in a pinhole, in a big hole, whatever. This is, you say it's flat, there it is. Stick 2 pins on it and rotate it. And see if the line of vision is exactly the same as you see the sun coming up so slowly, beautifully, and it rises bit by bit, you see it coming. What you're going to see is a flat cut and then flat cut. So it cannot be flat. Discussion is over. Using common sense is better than the stupidity.
I just want a clarification.
No, there is a clarification, and a discussion for confirming I exist is not a discussion. Finished. Anybody tells you the earth is flat, I said, okay, you show me, I bring my ball, you bring your cube. We put the light on, we'll have a look. It has to be what observed on the planet. Finished. Done. Or you stand on a cube and say, tell me and see what it is if I see what you see. Finished. These things bore discussion when the man was not intellect. Now we understand that somebody comes and tells you the earth is in quarter. Yes, it is. You show me the light. Finished. I listen to many of these discussions and I enjoy it because it shows the level of people thinking how stupid you are, not how clever they are. Anybody tells you these things, show me, no problem. I can, this is what I see. You tell me if you don't see the light the same as me, then I accept it's black.
I just wanted it to be stated by you and in the right way. Then they can take their discussions wherever they like, but for a lot of people not to get food because of what they try to explain.
Oh, they claim. You see it, you've seen it. You've seen it with a lot of people. Food.
I know, that's why I brought it forward. But now, to the next thing.
Can somebody help, please? Next question.
Yes. Next question is, so
are we finishing? Are we finishing with all the questions of the old time that we start fresh tomorrow?
Yeah, no problem. I just want to even make something more new. So my next question, if you listen, is if Mother Earth is, as you say, a nursery through the whole process of manifestation to creating the physicality, how many other nurseries to have just a slight idea or created or at this position at this moment? Do you have an idea?
As many as the stars in the universe. Because don't forget, we have a unicos to feed. Huh?
Yeah, but just
so
to give...
it cannot be one. The men are not so active. Unless they were all Jews, they had 5 or 6 or 10 in Jerusalem. All the Arabs you see with 20 children. One guy in Dubai has got 84 children and 17 wives. If we get to that point, we become very good. You know what's happening now in Jerusalem, in Israel, in Palestine? Arabs and the Jews as a race to create as many children as you can, that by numbers they become more than the others, that they can rule. It's a rat race of the races in the name of God. And the funny thing is, now the Jews accepted that they're going to fall behind. What have they done? They've created the army. Now the Palestinians can become soldiers in the Israeli army, but to a limit. And then next they take over, now they have the Jews who goes. It's beautiful how a stupidity of man is playing in Middle East. And this is all combination of the things you talk about. It has a different dimension. We are just here to create, or we are here to create to show the love of the Creator. This is the biggest problem. A question has come in. And the answer to your questions is none. I sign for one, and the other one doesn't exist. It's just a language in one nation. Any other question? Or shall I had enough? It's nearly 3 hours. Are there any other questions in the background?
Yes, just hang on here and have a look at the live stream.
There is an advice has just come in from our team in the background. Please understand. There is a gentleman who's sending on the name of Thev, T-H-E-A-V, Enger, making, this is, we think is Mr. Lorenz and his team, saying that they have reported the letter to the police and the rest of it. This name does not exist, is a troll. Please report it to the Facebook to be banned. This is another intimidation, is Mr. Lorenz's team, who are sending to whoever, threatening all the Keshe Foundation people that they have written a letter to the police for releasing the name of a criminal, and they are making threat. The name used is names like Teva Enger. This is a fake name. Our security people check in the background. Report it. They suggest please report it to the Facebook immediately. Yeah.
After a few, thank you. After a few people reported, I believe it's already blocked by Facebook. The profile cannot be found anymore.
Okay, so you see, these people now, we have touched them. They are criminals, they are making threats. He was busy making what I call victims of Keshe. Now we have found victims of Mr. Dirk. First two names, his daughters and his son. Because this was a very big question for us. He is both ways. He does not care what child is, because otherwise he wouldn't expose himself his own writing in front of the boy. So he's an abuser of both sexes. And now he's found his corner. Just ignore these people. We're coming to the time of peace, and this man will be handled with his own soul. There are security services who are targeting on this because it's exposing a huge pedophile team. Huge pedophile team in Germany, in Austria and Belgium, headed by the ex-king of Belgium. This is a huge exposure coming in. We know what the verdict is on Monday already. And we have taken the steps to protect ourselves. In the coming time, we'll announce the establishment of the World Police Force, as I said before. And all these peoples will be landing in one place. All those world leaders who've done wrong will stand their time. Doesn't matter if you're a head of police, if you are a head of nation, the time has come. We have to stop, and we stop this process. As I said, our banking is coming into position, the World Police Force is coming into position. Interpol has no tooth, it's just a courtesy call. We will see, and you will see, we learned from the American forces. They had no limitation to capture Al-Qaeda and take them to Guantanamo Bay. The same process will be applied to all the world leaders from now on. Anyone who's done wrong, and the leadership, whether in police or what judge or whatever, once it's proven, we don't wait for judges to pass, because then it goes for years to go. They'll be brought in till they do themselves what they need to do. Is the restructuring of a nation needs restructuring a lot of things. And we take the correct nations for what they've done. And we see China as one of these major forces to be able to implement and deliver criminals into the right hand. But that is to be an international police force, what we call the one nation police. So do not worry about these people, just let them be what it is. And as I said, we are waiting a week, 10 days. Mr. Lorenz has not created any map like everything else. And I will tell you something very soon, you will understand. You will see a reaction from the foundation in a very, very deep way. because we have to. We look after all of you in a so incredibly good way, but no organization does such a thing as we do. We care for every single soul on this platform. As I said, and the request comes from Laurenson's family, have you taken any pictures of the bedrooms? I think that gives you an answer of the conduct of the man. Exposing a criminal and the people read it, the police reads it, you open their eyes to what is going on. All the rubbish writing had a reason. Keshe Foundation and the Keshe Foundation team has taken every precaution to secure Keshe Foundation from the hand of these animals. There are ambassadors who are in the child trafficking. There are kings who are in abuse. There are bank managers, there are lawyers. Everyone who is in it gets exposed by you or nationals will go in a different direction from now. The process of one nation means a lot of changes. You cannot come to an agreement with the judge and the prosecutor and your king and do whatever you like. The kingdom now is subject to international law of one nation. It's very strange. I told you, you will see a lot of changes coming up. In the past 14 days, the whole structure of the Keshe Foundation worldwide has changed. We do not announce it anymore. But when it comes, do not be shocked. You see anybody making threats, send the information to Webmaster Keshe Foundation or security at Keshe Foundation or security at spaceshipinstitute.org or the Webmaster. We handle it. Now you see this guy's gone. Mr. Laurenson's lost one of his names. He says, I have made a complaint. Nobody else should make complaint because it's his name. So it's him. He's exposed. We are asking the people in the tower to start investigating. Who wants such a neighbor next to them? Let them walk themselves. I told you, we put so much on that they have to respond. Till Mr. Laurenson doesn't put the address of his daughter where she lived as we asked, so it means he has something to hide, the reality. So we know exactly what it is. And now we have found a huge criminal point in his writings. We have put lawyers in reading everything he has put, because when we put him away, it'll be for life. The Keshe Foundation, facts about Keshe Foundation, has got so much lies and accusations that we let him write. A lot of people told me, why don't you stop him? It's good. He wrote whatever he wanted to write. Now we use his writing against himself because he's admitted in his writing. You cannot sodomize a girl of 2 or 3, which is your own. Alan Sterling did. Birds with birds, foxes with foxes. Tomorrow is the day to celebrate. Let these people live in their own mess. Tomorrow is time to change, and we finish with these people. Hopefully, as part of work of the One Nation, we elevate the soul of the man that never touches another child. We finish. It comes where it came, and it's the misconduct. If you look, is a misconduct which just pushes this in a further deeper way. When you deny a right to a man, man will find a way to break through. When you don't allow a man to enjoy the love of a woman, and he has to stay without the love, where he has to love to give so much, and you call him a priest, he finds a way to break through. Because by nature we are givers. You breathe in incest, you breathe in all what is seen in this field. But it's not just to one, it's the worst to the others. We go to the Islamic world, is as bad as the other one, and you don't want to the Jews. Jews, and girl can marry his uncle, her uncle. It's the only religion that allows you this. Which what you have created out of can create out of you, which is horrendous. All these abnormalities will get fixed. Man will sort himself out. As we have finished with the religions have no room to run. So the new order is the balance. As I said, today is the end. People will come, as I said, to the Universal Council meeting to celebrate the 2nd and 3rd of August every year as one nation throughout the world. It'll be the only time that all the nations of the world, all human race on this planet, will take 2 days to celebrate the beginning of the peaceful man. It's a mark, it's a benchmark for humanity in growing and maturing. Any other question? Shall we call it a day? It's over 3 hours.
I think
Yep,
it's time to refill
it's
our cups
time.
of.
It's
It
nearly
is.
4 hours, am I correct? Or 3 hours?
It's 3 hours for this session. Then we take a 1 hour break and start another 3 hour session this afternoon,
I will
starting
not
at 2 p.m.
I will not be here in the second session. Of course, anybody else who would like to participate in what you're going to do tomorrow and how you want to celebrate the misery of the man for millions of years tonight, or tomorrow, it's all yours. If you decide to celebrate with us tomorrow into Tuesday, we try to do it and try to celebrate to see the day out across the planet through 12 o'clock. It'll be a celebration of the new age of peace. It'll be a celebration of new man on this planet, where he cares for every being, irrespective of color, race, size, location, creed, race, animal, plant, and whatever. Thank you very much for today.
Let's do it.
Okay, very good, Mr. Keshe.
See you in an hour.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you indeed.
Okay, that'll end our day 19 morning session for Tuesday, August 1st, 2017. And thank you, Mr. Keshe, and thank you, Caroline, for the questions and for others for participating. Okay, we'll end the live stream now, and we'll see you all back in about an hour at the 2 o'clock PM CET time, that is.